Hi, I'm Matt, and welcome to the Storycrafting YouTube channel. So what is storycrafting? Um, there are so many different ways to tell a story, whether you're talking about writing a story, or if you're an actor, you are helping to tell the story. If you're a director, you're helping to tell the story. If you are a scenic designer, you are helping to tell the story. Anything where you are in a creative role, that's storycrafting. I've been working as an actor and a director and a writer for decades now. I've done a lot of work on coverage and working with screenplays, but one of the things that I started to notice in giving just written feedback on screenplays is I could talk about, well, if you want this to go to the next place, you might want to think about these specific issues, but it wasn't satisfying to me, and I don't think it was getting to the heart of maybe what some of the writers needed. And that's because the most important thing in storytelling and in art is you. How are you telling this story? How are you telling the story in a way that no one else can? I say that sometimes, and some people think, and I used to think, okay, that means I need to try to figure out how to become the most original thing, and what crazy thing am I gonna do to try to stand out? That's not what it is. Who you are and your energy and your interests and the unique way in which you view the world, that's what's important. That's what's gonna get you to the next level. And that's a difficult thing to just write a book about or to write notes on. Not that that can't be useful. And by the way, there are plenty of books that I have read in my life that I can certainly recommend. But in storycrafting, I discovered one of the things that I really wanted to do was just talk one-on-one with my clients. Because then we can start with, okay, let's take a look at some of the things in your script or your story, or sometimes the stage play that they were directing at the time. And we can look at the specifics, the dialogue structure, that kind of thing. But then what it really boils down to is, what are you trying to say? How is it coming across? And what is a more unique way to tell this story? And obviously that's going to be different for everyone, which is why I really like working with clients one-on-one. A lot of questions. I'm less interested in saying, this is the thing that you should do, because that kills creativity, especially in a partnership or in a collaborative medium. I want to ask questions to find out what your subconscious immediately goes to. Why are you working on this project? What interests you about this? What are some of the things that inspired you? All the way down to, if you've got a draft, why is this character acting this way? What inspired this particular scene? How can you look at this scene in a more unique way to you? What fuels you emotionally about what's going on? And that is the way to pull out so much more creativity and making sure that it's original and unique to you. We all know that there are 5 plots and that's it. It's not about plotting. It's not even really about character, although character is vital. It's the character's perspective. We've seen so many movies that have the same structure, right? It gets taught over and over and over and over again. And I absolutely adhere to a lot of structure. I take a look at Star Wars is one of my favorite simplistic examples, but Star Wars is the Matrix, is Harry Potter. These all have a very specific hero's journey. And by the way, hero's journey and that specific style of storytelling is not right for everything and for everyone, but it's a good baseline, especially when you're starting out, understanding what audiences connect to and why. One of the things that I started doing a while ago, I started out as an actor, And I had always been writing things growing up. I'd written some plays, and then I started writing screenplays when I first came out to Los Angeles, and no one is allowed to read my first screenplay. My first 5 screenplays. What I started to discover as I was writing more for the stage and directing my own work, one of the things I started to discover is, since this is about affecting an audience, yes, it's about telling a story and making sure that the story that you want to tell is on there, but you want it to affect an audience. And I started using very basic hero's journey screenplay structure for the stage. I would have a very big laugh moment immediately followed by some kind of emotional gut punch for the audience at the end. Something where your low point in your story starts with something really, really funny and lighthearted, so that when you open up an audience, that's when you know how to emotionally affect them. You can get in there. And the way you do that is different for everybody. It's also not right for everybody. So really what I'm saying is I like collaborating so much, whether that is with stage managers when I'm directing theater, or whether it's with DPs, or whether it's with the crew, or whether it's with actors, or whether it's with another producer and we're working on something else together. I really love to collaborate. Storycrafting is about collaboration. Now, this is not a collaboration where you and I are working on a project together, because I know that's what collaboration means to an awful lot of people. No, it's a collaborative effort to find the purest version of you and your story and what you want to say. So thank you for joining me. I think this is going to be an awful lot of fun. Remember to subscribe and click the bell for notifications. And let's do this again really soon. Right on.